Hello book lovers, welcome to Uncommon Reader. This is Daniela, and today I'm going to talk to you about my April TBR. There are all library rentals. Some are new releases, some are old books that I've been renting and renewing. And now it's the final renewal notice and I have to finish them by the end of the month. And I like renting at the library books because I feel that I'm kind of forced to read them. Otherwise, they might be lingering and I'll be interested in other books. So it really keeps me on a schedule that allows me to be very productive in my reads. The first book I read, and I had to return it already, was The Passenger by Cormac McCarthy. And I think I'm going to keep my lips zipped on this book because there's a lot to say and I just don't want to give away anything since I already finished this book. So I'm going to hold on talking about it, expressing my opinions until it's time for my April Reads wrap up. Moving on, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of books that I have already started reading. These are due towards the 8th and the 11th of April. See how efficient I am knowing everything about my rentals. And I'm going to start with the Door-to-Door Bookstore by Carsten Henn. And as you see, I have my Italian copy, L'uomo che portava a spasso i libri, which can be literally translated as the man who was bringing the books on a stroll, for a stroll. And it tells the story of this old man that works at a bookstore and he delivers door to door books to his clients that are unwilling to go to the bookstore. And while he's on his walk and delivering books, he meets this little red-haired girl that's very curious about what he does, and she starts accompanying him on his deliveries, and he's not so happy about it, but actually I guess the friendship will develop and something will happen to the man at one point, and everyone will gather together as a community to help him out. So I think it's really like a feel-good type of book, and we have a way of saying in Italy, when it's a feel-good book, it's usually something that we compare to something pampering. So we say libro coccola. So it's like a pamper book. So I think this is definitely it. The second book I started is by Nobel Prize winner Vargas Llosa, and it's The Bad Girl. In Italian, the title says The Adventures of the Bad Girl. It's a story about this guy's obsession for a bad girl who treats him badly, but it's not just a simple love story. It's also a palpitating portrait of Europe and South America between the 60s and the 80s, with real life events mixing with the book plot. And what I loved about the character so far, about him, is that his goal in life was to live in Paris. And I totally sympathize with that. But still, he has a job as a translator, which it's not a bad job at all. So he also has the chance to travel around the world. So we'll see. This is going to be a book I'm reading with some friends. We'll discuss this book on the 11th of April. So I'm curious to see, because so far everyone loved it. I'm a little behind reading it because I had to finish other books before starting this. So I'm gonna finish it up definitely before I meet my friends. The next book is by Natalie Haynes, and it's Pandoras Box, of course, in the Italian version. And with wit and humor, finally, Natalie Haynes resurrects some female characters of the Greek mythology. This book, actually, it's more like an essay than an actual novel, because every chapter is dedicated to one of these women from Penelope, which I'm very curious about after reading and not liking Margaret Atwood, the Penelopead, which I reviewed last week. So other characters are Medusa and Helen of Troy, Medea. So very looking forward to read this one. The next one Check, this is an Italian book. And it's a new book, 2023, so there's no translation yet. I'm just going to talk briefly about it because it's based on a true story. It's a family saga about this family, the Zaini family, who founded a chocolate factory in Milan in the late 30s. And the title is La Fabbrica delle Tuse, so it's the girls' factory. Why it's the girls' factory? Because men, of course, at the start of the Second World War had to be sent off to war, so the women would replace them. And also the founder of the factory died in 1938, so his wife took charge, and with these women who will know the story in the book definitely kept the factory going. So it's going to be really interesting, and we'll follow this family for about 40 years, so way after the Second World War was over. So I'm really excited about it. And I found out that the writer is their first novel book, because she actually is an historian and specializes in the Milan area, and looks like she has also some special itinerary tour of Milan to learn more about the city, which is not like the conventional tourist spot. So I'm gonna check it out in case I'm in Milan in the near future. We'll see. The next book, it's really, really intriguing because it's another Italian book, despite the name, Shakespeare Reloved by Pete Maggi. And it's a mix of adventure, love, and poetry, and reconstructs a character and his time based on one of the most fascinating theory about William Shakespeare youth. So I've heard before the story that William Shakespeare was actually an Italian. So that's why I'm really, really curious to read this book. Very, very intriguing. And I hope this is a success, because it's actually the author's first novel. Is usually a producer. He also worked with Al Pacino on The Merchant of Venice. That's what it says here. And he did many, many other movies. So this is his first novel, and I hope it can be translated for you as well in English and other languages. One more book in my hands, and then there's another one I have to pick up. This is another Italian author. I'm sorry, I'm a little repetitive, but the genre is totally different. Antonio Manzini is well known for his mysteries, and he has written about a character that may be known as well somewhere else in Europe, Rocco Schiavone. And they made it into a TV series, and his character is very grumpy, outspoken and bad-tempered, but very charming as well, as you can see. But the book, it's not about this character. It's about cold cases, a guy who investigates in cold cases. And I won't say more because, unfortunately, not translated in English yet. The last book I'll try to read, but I'll have to, because this is going to be the read for my local library book club. It has a very intriguing title, Divorce Islamic Style. And this book is by Amara Lakhous. I hope I pronounce it correctly, who's an Algerian-Italian author born in the 70s, who studied at the University La Sapienza in Rome. So this book is actually available in English, and it tells the story of a possible terrorist attack in Rome. The Italian Secret Service learns about a possible attack, so they send someone undercover. This is a Sicilian guy who speaks Arab fluently, so he infiltrates the community, the Muslim community in Rome. And you can tell by the cover that it's a little funny. And this book is set to examine the commonplaces and the stereotypes of life in modern multicultural Italy. So entertaining and insightful at the same time. So these will be my April reads. I hope I can make it through because they all sound so appealing, and I look forward to start reading the rest of the books I chose for April. And what do you think about these books? Let me know in the comments. I would also love to know what you're up reading as well, so I can add to my long TBR list for the next few months. And I hope you enjoyed this video and consider subscribing and supporting the channel. Thank you if you're already a member of this community. I'll see you next week with my first ever book tag. I'm so excited, and I have to thank Catherine of Raspberry Reads for tagging me in a very interesting book tag. So I'll be seeing you in a week here on Uncommon Reader. In the meantime, happy reading, everyone. Ciao!